Hello and welcome to a special edition of PM Talks, special in the sense that we're here just to talk about the PMi Awards. I'm Don Marchant, current chair of the PM Society. Okay, so to kick us off, the first question we've had is, what is the difference between the PM Society Digital Awards of old and the PMi Awards? I think the main thing here is that this is about course corrections. The PMIs are not a completely new awards competition in themselves. They are the evolution of the PM Society Digital Awards. Why? Because we had a lot of feedback over the last couple of years, but in particular last year we had several working groups looking particularly at the PM Society Digital Awards, and the word digital just felt anachronistic. Everything is digital, digital is ubiquitous, and we really wanted to build upon what we've been progressing over the last sort of 4 or 5 years, that focus on impact and innovation. And the PMi Awards is the manifestation of that. The I stands for innovation and impact. Okay, so one question that gets asked a lot is, how many times can I enter a project or campaign into the awards? You can enter as many as you like. Any company can enter as many as they like. However, any project with the same creative idea or the same constituent parts may be entered into a maximum of 4 categories. How can I support my entry? It is strongly advised that any entry is supported with a video, a short film, no longer than 3 minutes in duration. If appropriate, you can also submit an accompanying URL, but bear in mind that to allow judges to view that content and score your entry, any submitted URLs must be live from the time of submission until at least the end of July. A couple of top tips. Now, I've entered into many awards competitions myself and with the teams in the agencies that I've worked with. So these are tips that are not just peculiar to the PMIs, but I think are absolutely relevant to the PMIs. And that will become apparent as I go through them. So there's 3 key tips here, if you like. First one is data. It's so important that you accurately represent how effective your project was. Obviously, where that's absolutely relevant. There are some categories where we're focused much more on innovation and less on impact, but for the bulk of the categories, impact is absolutely critical. So showing that data, that outcomes data, that empirical evidence of success is absolutely critical. That said, please make sure the judges can experience the entry. And what do I mean by experience it? It's got to be highlighting the key content in the video or giving a link to it if that's possible, for particularly websites, social media campaigns, etc. Think about how you can help them visualize and, as I said, experience it. The key thing is that if you're purely relying on outcomes data to sell your entry, it's not going to do well. You need to tell a story, which is my final tip here, is think of an award entry as a short story. It starts with the beginning, which is the business problem, the challenge. It has a middle, how you went about addressing that particular problem, and then it has an outcome. So that is the end of your story, the outcomes data, if you like. And if you can put your case forward in this manner, it has a flow and a logic to it, which makes it really easy to understand for anyone, but in particular the judges. And at the end of that, you've got a great case study of what the work was, independent of these awards or any other. Another question, a bit of a boring question, but very important question. What is the entry deadline? So the closing date for early bird is midnight Tuesday, the 6th of May. The main deadline is midnight Tuesday, the 13th of May, and an extension is granted to those that need it for Tuesday, the 20th of May. But that is for an additional cost. The deadline date for People's Award is Thursday, the 12th of June. So a question we get asked at the PMIs and the PM Awards is, who will see my entries? Will they be seen in the public domain? And there's obviously quite a lot of sensitivity sometimes about the entry content per se. And sometimes clients or agencies are concerned that that information may be seen by people that don't want it to be seen. So initially, all entries are reviewed by the awards committee to check for eligibility. At the judging stage, we recognise and understand the sensitive nature of that information, submitted in your entries, and therefore we require all judges to sign a legally binding confidentiality agreement before appointment. If you are through to the final stages, we'll contact you for copy, videos, images, etc. that are suitable for the awards ceremony, the exhibition, and for the online results brochure. And we will confirm with you at every step of that process to ensure that you, your client, are happy with what's shown and where it is shown. As soon as the online results brochure goes live, we send an email to our database, event attendees and members only. The results brochure is not publicised on any social media platform. So a question we've had recently is, how is the PMi Awards Agency of the Year different to the PM Awards Agency of the Year? And I'll answer that as best as I can. Both awards look to celebrate advancing standards in pharma marketing and healthcare communications. The difference is in the focus. So the PMI's is very much looking at innovation and impact. That is top of the criteria. That's not to say that innovation and impact are not looked at in the PM Awards. It's just that there's a bit of a different weighting. So with the PM Awards, there's much more a celebration of the creative agencies and the work that they do to get to where they need to get to in the campaigns and the projects that they do. And with the PMI's, again, the focus is very much on that I being innovation and impact. So it's just the slightly different weighting. So when you look at the Agency of the Year, and I'm delighted to say, as per the PM Awards, we have two different Agencies of the Year. We have agency headcount over 30 and headcount under 30. I want to read this piece out verbatim so we're totally clear on what we're looking for from the PMi Agency of the Year. The PMi Agency of the Year looks to celebrate teams with a laser focus on demonstrating success in their approach and the resulting work with empirical evidence in terms of KPIs and other metrics, and/or is leading the way in terms of innovation through technology, strategy, or culture. So hopefully that makes that very clear. Many people have asked this question about recycling entries. And that sounds a bit odd, doesn't it? I mean, every competition is slightly different. The criteria will therefore be correspondingly slightly different. The categories will be often very different. However, I come back to the tips that we were talking about earlier. If you can build a really good case study as opposed to an award entry, then I think you've got the makings of something that is quite versatile. And what I mean by that is, if you pull together something that can demonstrate a really good, compelling showcase of work in terms of how you try to solve a business challenge or a healthcare challenge or whatever that challenge might be, and you show how you went about it, and you've got some great outcomes data to support the success of that, then that can be reutilized in many different awards competitions, but obviously where appropriate and where relevant. So if you're thinking about the PMi Awards, you may have recently submitted into other competitions where you're very much focused on that innovation and impact piece. And if you've got a really good case study, then I think you can repurpose that quite easily for the PMi Awards. Now, the PMi Awards submission process is definitely one of the less onerous processes amongst the competitions, and our ambition is to ask enough good questions to get the best submission information out of you, and for your supplementary information, the supporting film or any other key content that you have, to really shine. So hopefully that's answered many of your questions. If you have any more questions, please do get in touch with the PM Society directly, and we'll do our best to answer as quickly as possible, because obviously the submission process is now open and we're already starting to see many submissions coming through, which is great. Look forward to seeing many of you at the brewery in September, where we will be celebrating the best of the best in terms of innovation and impact in pharmaceutical marketing and communications.